Well, it's nice to be back at the forms of the Mushroom Kingdom once again, but this time around, we're going to be focusing on something else, instead of the forms of collecting the majority of those power moons, of course. Although, the catch is the fact that, well, we'll explain more on that whenever we're able to actually get this, video started. So, hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Mario here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, of course. And, oh sweet, whole bunch of coins to start off with. So, anyway, welcome back to more Let's Play of Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch. So, excuse me. Last time we have managed to able to, well, I do apologize for that little belching, by the way, because I just managed to eat some of my spaghetti of all sorts. But anywho, though, anyway, last time we have managed to able to tackle through the final challenge, specifically the darker side, as well as the boss rematch against with Bowser, in this case, Final Boss 2. So, and after we'd done with all that, though, it was a lot of hard work that we actually did manage to tackle through after all that stuff in mind. So today for this episode is the fact that we're actually going to be focusing on something else for today. Especially noticeable when we get to the later, weeks or so, is the fact that the main actual focus is that, not only do we need to able to grab ourselves even more power moons to our disposal, as you can see right there, because we managed to able to actually get our coins count a little bit more differently, because, well, at the end of the day, I managed to replay for a bit on, the darker side, so even then, today for this episode is the fact that we're about to get things started with the actual Luigi's Bloom World DLC update. So even then, I think in order to actually get to this particular mode is that, well, obviously you need to able to actually get the actual game update whenever you first time you play the game or something. But not only that, you also need to able to complete the story mode. So, hey, I've seen that outfit somewhere before. Anyway, looking good, bro. Hey bro, you saved Princess Peach, huh? So proud of ya. Well, thank you, Luigi. But enough about that, then get this. I came up with a new game, I call it Balloon World. Balloon World is a game where you search for balloons hidden by people all over the world. Now, I think we should probably able to actually realize about something, and then, in fact, the matter is, though, is that we'll, explain more on that until whenever we get this thing started. Yeah, every time whenever you're trying to get onto the forms of the actual Bloom World to begin with, you always need to require the actual network. And thankfully though, unlike in certain Nintendo Switch games, it does not require the actual Nintendo Switch online membership services. So it's just a matter of the forms of the internet connection is only required. So basically, for the Luigi's Bloom World, as you can see, we actually stumbled across the forms of, let's just say, two different modes with the Bloom World. First off is Find It mode, where basically we need to simply find a balloon, and that's all there is to know. There's also the second option, which, either way, we'll point things out in just a moment, but for now on, we need to get ourselves a whole bunch of coins. Well, to be more specifically, 50 to start off with, and there's also the Hide It mode, where basically you can able to actually just to classify if you're able to actually, well, depends on what placements you're going to be placed the actual balloon itself. You can able to actually press the left button on the actual, the Joy-Con left. Well, to be more specifically, the D-pad of any sorts. So, but anyway though, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and place my, balloon somewhere across through, let's just say, although it doesn't really matter if which one you're going to be placing onto that specific locations. But either way though, when this mode was first announced during the forms of the 11th of January in 2018's Nintendo Direct Mini, and the fact of the matter is though, I was a little bit more skeptical at first because, well, for one obvious thing is the fact that unlike in Super Mario Galaxy 1, and especially noticeable with Super Mario Galaxy 2, Super Mario 3D Land, and especially noticeable with Super Mario 3D World, where basically Luigi appears to be the actual playable character with those games, all except Super Mario 64, as well as Super Mario Sunshine. So either way, it's pretty sad about the fact that Luigi was not going to be a playable character in this game somehow, but let's just hoping until the sequel will be announced, hopefully Luigi will become playable in that game, but then again, we'll never know until when the next Nintendo Directs will be able to hopefully try to announce it, or even in next year's E3, but then again, possibilities were endless, so So basically though, every time you're able to actually deal with all of these two modes at first glance, whenever you're trying to able to practice those particular modes itself, now you can able have an optional choice between either hidden modes for just for the sake of farming some more coins. In fact, this is actually the best way you can able to actually get a lot of coins in this game as well. In addition with the forms of the darker side, if you keep on dying a lot, especially noticeable with the forms of that particular secret area on the forms of the Bowser's Kingdom and stuff like that. But this is a definition of the forms of the best way to able to farm more coins with, because the more you pop the balloons, especially noticeable, this is what the combo system comes into play, where every time you're able to actually find, well, if you manage to pop in, like, let's just say 2 or 3 balloons, the more coins you collect based on your combo, well, basically, the more coins you'll be rewarded with. So, as you can see, I managed to go myself 36 of the actual stars, as you can see, which, either way, we'll point things out whenever we get to it later, though, because at the moment right now, I think it's about time to able to actually discuss upon new announcements and all that stuff. Especially noticeable how the fact that, you know how recently yesterday, about the fact that the new tour of Mario Kart Tour has been recently happened in the forms of yesterday. And also as a result, it's going to take place in a Halloween tour, which is basically based around from the celebration release date from the forms of Luigi's Mansion 3. And speaking of Luigi's Mansion 3, you know how the fact that we got about a week left until when that particular game was going to be able to finally get its release. So even then, alongside with the forms of when definitely we'll hopefully try to able to finish up with this Let's Play of Pac-Man World. So hopefully we'll able to actually get that Let's Play finished, but before next year we're going to be doing Pac-Man World 2, which is my favorite game of the entire trilogy in my opinion. As well as from that, also same applies for Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest for the Super Nintendo and stuff. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of Let's Plays coming up in during the next year and sometime. So anyway, let's just go ahead and just use Cappy to do a little bit of a Cappy toss here. So you can also use the Cappy until you're able to actually go ahead and just hit the balloons from that way. So even though you should definitely recommend you do that. So anyway, and aside from everything else though, that's just the actual mode is actually going to be represented though. So, I will admit though right away is the fact that most of these balloons, well, it's not so bad on the easier balloons, but for the ones with the forms of the less timer, especially noticeable with the more coin rewards if you couldn't tell, I will admit though right away is that back in 2018, some players out there managed to able to hack the game by simply able to actually clipping through those little glitches and stuff like that, and to simply place the balloons from there. So, it's a little bit weird, and especially noticeable how strange that is, but either way though, that's besides the point right there. So, and I figure we might actually discuss on this right about now, is the fact that before when this Let's Play will hopefully about to be finishing at some point at the end of this year, so I would expect we can able to actually go through all the kingdoms again. Well, the only exceptions are basically Cloud Kingdom, as well as the forms of the Ruined Kingdom, and also the Dark Side and the Darker Side, because those three kingdoms rather does not have any of the actual Luigi's Bloom World activities or something. So a little bit different from the likes of how it does on the other kingdoms for sure. So either way though, things can get a little bit more relative and everything like that. So, but unfortunately for me though, as you can see with that particular balloon, I'm basically out of time, because if you couldn't tell, the actual ultimate challenge when it comes to like getting more coins and stuff like that, and if you can tell already, if you somehow manage to get a time over, not only does it able to lose your combo if you keep on like winning some of these balloons and all that stuff, but it's also, the fact of the matter is though, is that you can able to actually rotate the camera around to simply know where the balloon is actually located. So yeah, a little bit tricky to able to noticing that for certain locations, but at least in this one though, it's actually relatively easy to find, but either way. And also at the same time, that we can able to actually just change any single costumes. And I think this will be the matters too, is the fact that whenever I was trying to able to get myself, let's just say a skeleton Mario, well, this will be the best option for you out there, especially because if you really want to go after more coins and stuff like that, I recommend you able to play this mode. So because of this though, you would able to actually get yourselves the actual opportunity that you would able to actually just go ahead and get even more coins into your disposal. So definitely recommend you do that though, as I mentioned this before. So anyways though, so let's go on to this little rooftop here, because that's where the next balloon is located. So yeah, I think that's far from the case though, regrettably. So but yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. And also, as you can see, that Luigi managed to got himself, like, let's just say 4 balloons all at once. Well, we'll point things out whenever we get to it at later points throughout, aside from the star system, which either way. For the most part, Luigi's Balloon World was pretty much optional for the most part though, but if you really want to guarantee you able to get yourselves a true reward if you manage to able to accomplish certain tasks, most notably with, of course, 5 categories at the same time, most notably between both hidden mode as well as the forms of the finite mode, where basically you can able to actually guarantee you can able to accomplish those challenges all at once. So, and unfortunately I can't able to get up there because that particular rooftop was actually pretty much steep for the most part. Well, at least as far as I can usually think about it. But when we get to the forms of the later kingdoms, most notably with let's just say the Lost Kingdom, as well as the forms of, I would say, Luncheon Kingdom, and as well as Bowser's Kingdom, and even the Moon Kingdom as a result of this matter, we'll able to actually come across into a lot of hazards, if you couldn't tell, but either way. And also, as one of pointing out, throughout in each and every single world with Luigi's Balloon World, I figure, well, while the actual episode was actually going to be ended, I figure I might able to actually just purchase, some more of those power moons, because that's the way I like to do, especially because I just really want to go for 100% completion, including the forms of likely, specifically, the actual maximum count of balloons. So, well, meanwhile though, we did manage to able to at least accomplish every single of those normal missions from now on, because, you know, we're basically done with every single kingdoms when it comes to certain missions. So, think relatively speaking, and finally, perhaps the most noticeably though, is the fact that I would say we'll go for about 30 or more minutes this time around, rather than the forms of 40 minutes, because I just feel like we're not gonna able to waste our time when it comes to like playing the actual the same minigame within a singular kingdom. So, but even then, I just want to show you guys every single stages or every single kingdoms rather when it comes to, you know, Luigi's Balloon World gameplay and stuff like that. So, but nonetheless though, if you're trying to able to actually access to a mod of Super Mario Odyssey, which is of course Super Luigi Odyssey, which basically, if you're trying to mod Super Mario Odyssey in one of those hackers and stuff like that, you can able to actually play as Luigi all the way through. But the major differences from here is the fact that Mario actually takes in charge with, you know, the Balloon World, as opposed to Luigi. So, that's pretty cool though, but then again, I just really wish if Luigi will become a playable character in, Super Mario Odyssey, but that's not the case, sadly. But, apart from those side of things though, the only positive thing about this is, I found it was very addictive at the same time whenever I was trying to play through the actual Balloon World to begin with. Because there are some very tricky spots to able to find though, especially when it's going to be some of these well-hidden balloons to be found around here. And also, if you can tell, it also managed to include ourselves the actual arrows to begin with, which actually tells you where the balloons are. So even then, you won't be able to missing out for the actual locations to be found around here. But if you stand on the actual spot for long enough, well, the arrow will show up once again. So, it's all just a matter of, like, waiting until you're able to actually fight it. So, but even then, oh, please don't tell me it's gonna be one of those little, hacking stuff as far as I'm aware. Yep, it's gonna be one of those hacker stuff, so, yeah, this is the part I was talking about right there. Sometimes, the actual balloons themselves for certain users, they always seem to know, they always manage to able to be well-placed, balloons. Well, not only that, but they usually sometimes manage to perform their glitches, and then just simply trying to able to find just trying to hide those balloons simultaneously. So, it's a little bit iffy right there, but even then, I just never normally try to do hacking stuff, unless if I was trying to able to figure out how on earth do I supposed to do all that stuff. But, anywho though, let's go ahead and choose a different balloon around here. Yeah, I'm gonna be most likely gonna have to rotate my right analog stick because, most of the time, if you really want to know where certain spots are, well, basically you would guarantee by that, and I failed my starting position right here, because, well, the best strategy when it comes to, like, finding those balloons in this specific title like this, basically, there's also a special technique where you can able to perform by simply able to perform, let's just say, a combination of both the spin jump, and as well as from that, you can also just manage to able to ground pound and roll at the same time. So that way you can able to actually get yourselves a good little boost start until you're able to actually get yourselves even much more time than ever will be. So, yeah, I should definitely recommend you able to use that specifically in certain kingdoms. Well, not all of the kingdoms though, but just some of them. So, let's go for this balloon actually, because even then I know exactly where that's going to be at. But however though, taking notice from Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that, well, to be more specifically, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, basically, every time you grab the actual 3 coins in the actual balloon world like this, basically what that is the fact that you're able to actually allows you to add in about, let's just say a second every time you collected about 3 coins. So, every time you do collect those coins, then the more time you're able to actually add up. So, I believe the maximum amount of seconds you can able to actually do all these challenges though, which is of course, 40 seconds. So, something's worth pointing out right away, because even then I just want to able to actually just mention about that specific stuff. So, anyway though, let's just get into the forms of the actual discussion when I was trying to able to play through the majority of this mode. You know, recently yesterday that, you know, with the fact that was it? Huh. That balloon is just literally right near to the starting point. Okay, I totally understand that. But anywho though, but I guess I'll take it for the sake of, you know, coins values and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll take it. I'll definitely take it any day. So, anyway though, with the forms of the most recent tour that has been recently released in Mario Kart Tour, which is of course the Halloween tour based on from the forms of, again, the celebration release for Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Nintendo Switch, and also, in addition with Luigi finally makes his playable debut in Mario Kart Tour, which is about time, and in addition with Luigi managed to join in, there's also King Boo, and as well as Waluigi of all things, and even Baby Luigi actually makes their debut as well. So, it's about time we actually get ourselves all of the normal races from now on, but that doesn't end off here, because as far as I'm aware, it's the fact that, well, we'll explain more about the forms of the different variations of the actual characters themselves in just a moment, but as far as courses as far as I'm concerned, they actually did recently add in, let's just say, both Luigi's Mansion, in this case Luigi's Mansion the original course from Mario Kart DS, as well as the forms of the reverse version of that particular course, and of course we actually also managed to point things out is that Waluigi Pinball will be included as well. So it's about time we can now able to actually finally try out the actual DS tracks from the forms of Mario Kart Tour. So, yeah, it's about time though, really, because for the majority of the time, we didn't get that much in terms of the GBA stuff. Well, to be more specifically, the actual Game Boy Advance, kind of like, courses and stuff like that, because we've already just got one, which is, of course, Bowser Castle 1, and I think that's about it, basically. I just really wish if they actually gonna bring us into the forms of, like, specifically, let's just say Snowland from the likes of Super Circuit whenever when the Christmas event is going to approach. But even then, we'll have to wait and see what happens there until when it gets to December at some point. But either way though, and yeah, like before, I managed to able to actually just manage to redeem myself with the actual gold pass and all that stuff, just like the forms of how it does it from last time. Even though it's way too stingy, I will admit though, because of the forms of not allow you to able to keep, you know, 200cc at all times, so you have to, like, purposely trying to access to gold pass at all times. But the more you're able to actually subscription for it, when it comes to, like, purchasing golden pass and stuff like that, well, you have to pay even more money in addition with, like, keeping that up for a long period of time, which I found is really, really stingy, I should say, because, well, you know, it's just a little bit of a coincidence anyway, so. But you know, you probably get the idea for that solution here, because even then, no, there's not much else to really think about it. So, anywho though, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, in addition with these courses they actually bring us into, in addition with that, there's also gonna be Ghost Valley Track, which I don't know what the actual Ghost Valley Track was going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Ghost Valley 2 or Ghost Valley 1, or even Ghost Valley 3, I don't really freaking know, because it's been such a long time since I actually played Super Mario Kart and stuff, including Mario Kart Super Circuit, which even then though, I guess we're able to actually notice how I'll find out whenever I play it for myself, you see. So, alongside with that, though, is the fact that Piglet needs to get back into, well, specifically Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz until tomorrow. And after that, though, until the weekend, however, though, you know, Sonic and Sylvester will eventually turn back into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. So, even then, I'm quite surprised about this actually, because despite the fact that we got ourselves a little bit of a slow process going with the actual uploading schedules in mind, but so far it actually turns out that it's going to be a little bit more quicker than I expected, especially this is on the focus is of course 150cc class, not the actual mirror mode, because well, we figured we might actually do that on our own time for the actual mirror mode so that we can able to actually unlock something. But even then though, it might actually give us some time alone. So even then, you probably get the idea for that. So anyway, about with the forms of the actual 2 exclusive characters on that particular Halloween tour they actually did announce, there's going to be the Halloween costume for Rosalina, and also there's going to be the Luigi's Mansion version of King Boo, which, you know, it has like a darker purple or pinkish eyes, along with the forms of like a shady look, and also the actual the jaw on its crown. So even then, based off from the actual design from, you know, at least ever since in Luigi's Mansion 2, including Luigi's Mansion Arcade, if you do not know, and as well as the most recent game in the series, Luigi's Mansion 3. So yeah, it's pretty interesting though, but then again, it's just a matter of the forms of somewhat of how luck-based the forms of whenever you're trying to get those characters to begin with, or to be more specifically, those 2 characters that you might actually get are pretty random. But luckily for me though, I can just simply able to actually get myself Peachette, and during that some point later down the road, if I still manage to get myself a gold pass with it. So, but what I did done is the fact that I managed to able to cancel out the actual subscription for it, so that way I don't have to pay like extra amount of money until I'm able to actually continuously playing through Mario Kart Tour on my own time. So even then, and another example about Mario Kart Tour though is the fact that we're probably not going to do a let's play of that game because, well, for one thing, the actual tours themselves might actually start to get a little bit more randomized every single time, or in any single year for that matter. I do know it's going to be the biggest game of the series though, or something like that, but even then, what's kind of strange about that is the fact that this might actually be the only Mario Kart game does not have battle mode at all. Like, literally no battle mode whatsoever. Like the Balloon Battle, the Shine Thief, or the Coin Runners, especially noticeable with the actual Cops and Robbers, or in this case the what's the actual mode they actually bring us onto? Oh yeah, Renegade Roundup, that's the actual battle mode's name. So, and as well as the Bob-on Blast. So, yeah, I think I'd probably take Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Battle Mode any day, because it has like much more variety when it comes to like battle mode settings and all that stuff, as well as the much more better emphasis on battle courses in my opinion, because, well, you might as well point things out as soon as we're able to actually get to those videos like this. So yeah, you're probably able to actually notice by that. So, anywho, let's go for this balloon over there. So, even then, we actually got about, let's just say, about 4,000 so far, which is actually not that bad. But then again, because it's so good to able to actually just rank up some more coins again, especially if you really want to go after these special costumes, as well as the some of these special rare variations of the actual, well, let's just say, as I mentioned this before, the Skeleton Mario. If you really want to reach up to about 9,999 coins, well, this is the mode for you. So even then, well, assuming if you're trying to able to perform a lot of combos, if you're trying to able to find the majority of the balloons. But then again, be cautious about this though, because sometimes though, the actual hackers might seem to able to actually hit in it very well. So, yeah, pay attention to that, though, because even then, let's just say, whenever we get to Metro Kingdoms, for instance, they, managed to able to clip from the actual building, and they somehow place the balloon into that clipping building. So, I don't think it's possible that if you're trying to able to perform that, so, just want to classify that, so, anywho, though. Speaking of the forms of the uploading schedules for specifically the Bloom World in Super Mario Odyssey, is that it's going to be mainly focusing on, let's just say November later on though, until when this Let's Play will be finished. And until then, after the Luigi's Bloom World will be concluded, then the actual final thing we can show off is of course the virtual reality support in the actual Nintendo Labo. So, and hopefully the actual Let's Play will be done, and then eventually the next 3D Mario Let's Play we're going to be doing is of course Super Mario Sunshine Redo Let's Play, which even then that will be up until 2020. What's said sometime in spring, because even then that way we can able to actually deal with all that, alongside with the forms of Team Sonic Racing for, you know, the PlayStation 4/Nintendo Switch, as well as Xbox One. But then again, we're going to be focusing on the Switch version, despite the forms of a pretty much a low frame rate cap, just like the ones and how it does it in, well, let's just say in the forms of, you know, Sonic Forces and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure about Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD, but I'm also able to look it up for myself later on, though, whenever I think about the actual result. But either way, though, we'll think about that in a later time, though. But for now, let me go ahead and choose, seriously, there's so many options to choose from, especially because, well, it does have 3 pages, though, it's able to actually just manage to able to look up on, different balloons and stuff like that, you can able to look up. But, anyway, though, so let's just go ahead and choose the one from, the different user and stuff like that. So, it's gonna be some of those, same users we're actually gonna be bumping into once in a while, though. But even then, as long as we know what we're doing, then at least we expect to be a little bit more okay with that. So, at least for the Mushroom Kingdom, though, it's actually pretty easy. But, the only trickiest part about this is, when it comes to the forms of finding every single balloons, is that, then again, some hackers out there managed to able to very well hidden the actual balloons themselves by, you know, clipping through the actual boundaries and stuff like that. So that could be a little bit of a common thing when it comes to this particular mode. So even then, that's as far as from the case. So let's just do this particular familiar arm wing balloon, as you can tell for this particular imagery, or the actual you know, the photo ID or something like that. Let me just see. I think one of those balloons is going to be very well hidden in this tree over there. So, at least even... What? Oh, wait. Do I have to able to move around a little? Oh, yes, I do. Okay. There we go. Whew. That almost frightened me, because even then, if I somehow bypass this for likely complete accident, well, basically, it just managed to able to actually just, almost makes me feel like I lose concentration and all that stuff. So, I think we'll take care of the forms of the Mushroom Kingdom from now on, and then we'll be back onto this, though, until whenever we get something out of the rewards and all that stuff. So as you can see on the actual categories, as you can see right there, these will be ranging from, well, coins owned, as well as the forms of, well, between, you know, find it mode, as well as hide it modes, you have, I would say 10 stars each, depends on what, stimulation you're going for. So at least even then, we actually got about 9 stars so far in coins owned, and also we actually got ourselves find it, you know, find it balloons counts. We actually got about 5 stars, and all 10 stars with finding all of these balloons in a row. And as far as the forms of, specifically in hidden mode, well, we didn't got that much, I'm afraid, because, well, we just simply had a lot more indicative time when it comes to the forms of finding mode. So, at least even then, though, we're able to actually leave it to that, I suppose. But even then, let's just stop there. And I think we might actually purchase the new costume or what have you. Which even then, still we haven't got enough coins for between that particular costume as well as these. But hopefully we'll able to actually get some in the future. But for now, let's just go ahead and purchase the actual Gold Mario particular costume body. So even then, Now, I figured that until the next video, which should be until, you know, November at some point, because then again, I'll let Sonic will get back onto Kingdom Hearts Final Mix and join at some point in, let's say at this point, Monday and Tuesday, because until Wednesday and Thursday next week, well, basically, that, I'll let Sylvester, or in this case, Steffi, will able to actually finish up with Pac-Man World. So even then, and hopefully though, by the time until November, the brand new Let's Play will gonna come, as well as the forms of a next redo Let's Play will be up. In fact, this might be actually be, well, I wouldn't say that much of a last Let's Play we're gonna be doing for the future, but either way, I have no idea why I'd truly say that, so at least even though we got ourselves 890 of those power moons so far, so at least even then though we need to get about, I would say 110 left, so and even then we'll have to go through all of the kingdoms retrospectively when it comes to the Luigi's Bloom World fun playtime. So even then, that's the entire main focus of the actual ending portion of this Let's Play so far, so at least even then, if I manage to take a break on certain Let's Plays or anything like that, well, I don't know about you, but even then, I have no idea why I'd really say that. So, but anywho though, let's just go ahead and hit into the actual Odyssey itself, and then just change into ourselves into the forms of course, the golden formation of Mario, which is kind of like the similar power-up as the forms of, or the actual same costume, as you would normally see it from the likes of New Super Mario Bros. 2. And especially noticeable with Gold in Plain State from Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, as well as most recently Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, yeah, you get the idea for that. So, anyway, so let's get the heck out of here. And we'll pretty much get end things off at this point here. So join me next time on Let's Play Super Mario Odyssey. It's the fact that we're going to be hit on to Luigi's Bloom World in the forms of Cap Kingdom. So even then, this will be the last time we're going to be seeing this kingdom. So anyway, see you guys then. Later, fellas.